of you have attended today's session regarding what's the entire syllabus that we'll be covering. Now, when we talk about syllabus, if I mention about syllabus, what we plan to do over here is like there is a lot of misconception in the market. People talk about there is something as core Java and there is something as advanced Java. But the fact of the matter is there is nothing as core and there is nothing as advanced Java. So we'll understand what exactly is there technically if we speak about what is Java. That is what we plan to understand. And what is this course all about? Okay, a lot of topics that I'll be covering in this particular course, most of the places across India, across the globe, you find people put it across in advanced Java. Now that's something which is very wrong. It's a very common kind of terms that we use, but not very technical. So there are a lot of advanced concepts which are part of Java itself. And then there is something called as advanced Java, which should be something different. So I'll be in the initial sessions, we will not be starting with Java as a programming language immediately. Because you are taking a course in Java, you look at Java as a potential kind of technology where you make a career. And if you do not understand the basic terminologies and you use the wrong terms at wrong places, that shouldn't be the case, especially when you are my student. I want you to have an understanding of the entire Java ecosystem first. Understand why one should learn Java, what exactly is Java, how does it work, and then later we'll go to Java as a programming language. I saw from the poll result, most of you have programming experience. Many of you have object-oriented language experience as well. Now, if you have programming experience, we should understand how Java stands out differently and what makes Java so very special. After 25 years, this year we are celebrating 25th birthday of Java. Now, after 25 years, it's still the most popular language in the market. There must be something special about this technology that has made it so very popular in the market even now. But we need to understand what exactly Java is. I see many of you who have already attended the introductory session. So there'll be nothing new for you. But there are several who are attending the introduction to Java for the first time. Before even we'll write the first statement in Java, I'll make sure you understand what exactly Java is all about. You will be very confident about what Java is, how does it work, even before we start writing programs in Java or understand the syntax of Java. Since all of you have some programming background, believe me, learning syntax is the easiest thing for anybody. I throw a book at you or I give you a book of Java, you can definitely understand the syntax. But learning syntax and using that syntax to write some simple statement is not about learning a language or learning a technology. There is more to it. There is more to it. The ecosystem of Java is something very special. So what exactly Java is it? How does it work? That discussion we are going to have for the initial several sessions. And don't run away. Don't be in haste. Sir, why are we not starting with the course that you have come here for? This is all a part of the course. Understanding what Java is all about. Because you're going to run programs, you're going to develop applications in Java. And if you do not know what exactly Java is, there is no point in learning the language and what power it provides, what feature does it have. So those things will be in several initial sessions, 4 to 5 sessions initially. We'll be having that discussion, and believe me, I'll be sharing with you some surprising facts, and you'll definitely be surprised. And this will be definitely different than what you may have read about Java, but we'll check all those things with a proof. So Java is something very special. It's very different than other technologies, and we'll be exploring Java in quite a detail. I assure you, once we finish with the introduction, you will have a very clear picture as to what Java is all about. And you can challenge anybody. If somebody says something nonsense, you can challenge somebody. This is not what Java is all about. And that's a promise from my side. Only thing is, like, you have to be regular, you have to be watchful, attentive, not just like put on the video and just go out somewhere. These are not video recorded sessions. These are live sessions. So you can interact with me. Some of you have already been with me for some other sessions. You can just raise your hand and I may notice it. And if I don't notice it, you can just unmute yourself. We never close anybody. You can unmute yourself and you can just ask. You can just stop me at any point of time if you have any query. I would appreciate even if you put on the video so I'll get to know you. Many of you I know you by face, but many of you who are joining for the first time, whom with I'm interacting for the first time, it's good to know each other. Na? It's good to know. So this video conferencing is very good. We got to get to know each other. We can share. And common practice with Impetus is like after the lecture, we stay back and we discuss. We discuss topics which were discussed in that session. And if anything is related, you want to talk to me, you want to have some kind of clarification about certain things, comments that I make in the program, that is also done. So it's all interactive. The only difference over here is I'm not in blood and flesh right in front of me. And unfortunately, I cannot see your response on your face unless you don't put on your video. In classroom session is very interesting, where I can see the facial expression. I can make out from your face whether we have understood or not. Here you'll have to take a bit more responsibility. If you don't understand, raise your hand. And understand how to raise a hand. There is an option over here in participant where you can actually raise your hand. So you need to raise your hand, you need to unmute yourself. So you need to be more interactive. You need to be more interactive. And with interaction, the course becomes very, very interesting. And with this particular course, as I promised, the syllabus that we look at is something that will prepare you for international certification. So even if you're a working professional and if you really want to pursue some international certification, this course will cover up first 2 levels of paper, OCA as well as OCP, Oracle Certified Associate and Oracle Certified Professional. I'll be definitely going beyond that. Once I share the syllabus with you today, when you compare that syllabus with what is there for OCP, you will realize we are going beyond OCP, Oracle Certified Professional. We'll be going beyond that because those are part of Java. And when you're learning Java, you should be aware of those things. So I'll be going, we'll not leave anything just because it's not a part of the syllabus. We'll try and make sure that we cover entire Java technology, at least Java SE, to be more precise. And we'll cover everything in quite a detail. Now, in this particular course, we will be having every day this video conferencing session wherein you can interact with me, you can ask the questions. It's all going to be an interactive session. After this particular session, whatever examples that I demonstrate, I have a habit like I take up a code and I run line by line to explain you that particular code. But whatever examples that we have taken, you'll find those examples shared with you on an e-learning portal. I'll just give you a glimpse as to how that e-learning portal is all about so that you'll get an idea. Many of you who have been with me for other languages, other technologies, you all are aware of it. But there are several amongst you who have joined us for the first time. For them, there is this e-learning portal that we have. And once you log into this particular e-learning portal, you will get to see the course that you are enrolled for. You have to put in your own, I'm the admin, so it's admin password. You'll have your own username and password. And once you log into this particular e-learning portal, you'll get to see the course that you have enrolled for. Right now, the batches that I'm conducting, the listing will be for all the subjects that I'm conducting sessions for. That will not be in your case. All the courses that you have joined for, you will get list of those courses. Okay. Say, let's talk about Java. So if you click on Java, that will take you to Java course. And inside the Java course, you'll have all the notes about every topic that we discuss in the classroom. Okay. And if you want to read any note, suppose today's topic is all about introduction, or later I'll tell you how to install Java. A very simple topic like how Java is to install on your machine. Somebody may get stuck up. So we have a note about it. Password for everything is Impetus. So you just have to type password as Impetus and that note will open for you. And that is a note as to how you have to go ahead, what has to be done. All that things are shared with you. Okay, so you are just supposed to download. So these are notes about everything that we discuss in the classroom. It could be as simple as how to install Java, and it could be as complex as threading in Java. Okay, so tutorial on internationalization, threading, every topic you'll find some notes which are there. Okay, suppose you're developing a Swing application and you would like to know how this Swing application really works. So these are additional notes that will be available. So for every topic that we're discussing, there will be some notes that will be given, and always password is only one, and that's Impetus. So any note, you don't even have to ask me for the password. It's I capital Impetus. And you'll have a detailed note about whatever we discuss in the classroom, topics that we discuss, along with the examples and everything. It will be quite a detailed note that you'll have. Okay, quite a detailed note that we'll have. So that's how the contents will be shared. And I expect all of you, rather, I always make it a point to share with everybody that while you're attending session, since it's the first day, I would excuse you, but you need to have a fresh new notebook. Believe me, you have to take your notes. It's not like I'll watch some YouTube video or something like that. Because even if I share the notes with you, even if I show some slides to you while I discuss some topic, But during discussion, there is going to be a lot more that what will be in the notes and what will be in the presentation. And anytime if you understand something, when that aha moments comes and you feel, yes, I understood this very well, you have to scribble it, you have to write it in your notebook. So all the key points that we discuss, you have to write in a notebook. I may give you the best of the book, even from the creator of Java. He may come down, James Gosling may come down and give you some notes. That's not going to work. The most important thing that you should carry is your own notes about what have you understood while you're learning this particular course. And believe me, when you take the notes, when you open up the page, moment you read something that you have noted, you will be in a position to recollect the entire session that you had attended. And that's the power of the notes that you write, not the power of the notes that I share with you. I'll be sharing information, facts with you, and you will have your own notes in your own words. So if not today, next session at least, all of you should carry your own new fresh notebook, at least 200 pages notebook, and that would not be enough for our course. Take that in mind. That's so much of information that you have to note it down. So at least 200 pages notebook, a fresh new notebook for Java, dedicated for Java, where you will make your own notes. And I may ask you randomly, anybody, to show me your notes. What have you noted? Notes is something that is most important in this entire course. Not that what I taught, but what you understood is something which is very important. Because if you note it down and then you share with me, sir, this is what I understood. Is that right? I can give my own comments as well. So you have to have those notebooks with you. That will be an integral part of our course. Now, coming back to this particular portal. So I talked about notes that you will be having. In addition to the notes, as we go down, on the left-hand side, you can see we have notes, we have programs. So every program that we discuss in the classroom, you will get to see over here. So I have a habit of demonstrating and discussing a program. Say I may open up some program just for you to understand what we do. There will be some idea of my choice, and say I discuss some program. I open up some program and I discuss a program with you. What this is how it works and everything. Correct? Now, once this program has been discussed with you, this code is there with me. You have understood, but you need it for reference. Now, when you need it for reference, right from the simplest program, like the first Java program that we'll write, to the most complex threading program that you may have, everything will be shared with you. You just have to download that. So once you download it, you'll have that particular file ready with you. You will have that particular file ready with you, unzip it, and you get to see the code that was discussed in the classroom. It could be the simplest program like a class called a student that I have discussed, just to understand what object-oriented concepts are all about. So you'll have that program with you. You'll have that program with you. So every program that I'll use, and we'll be discussing not less than 250 programs in this course, not less than 250 programs in this course. And take my word, you could keep a count of it. You could keep a count of it. And it will definitely, I'll surpass that. That kind of examples we're going to take. So don't you want to, would you not like to have the code with you? And those codes will be available over here. Every program that we discuss will be available over here. Every program that we discuss. Say I talk about time package, whatever we take up, all those programs will be available over here. You just have to click on that particular program and that program has to be downloaded. Say, suppose I discuss collection classes. So the moment I discuss collection class, that source code will be discussed with you, the program that I take in the classroom. So look at that. That program will be there with you, available for you to have a look at it. So these are the kind of things that we'll be doing. So this is an e-learning portal, which will help us. It's a content delivery kind of mechanism that we have. Okay. After the first was the notes, second is the program, and third is some additional readings. Let us go beyond the course. Let us understand something more than related to Java, which we may not possibly have time to discuss in the course. So all those additional concepts you will also find over here, especially about UML, because you're going to not just be a programmer tomorrow, you're going to be a designer. So a lot of things I normally share, what new things are coming up in Java, what are the proposals which are coming in Java. In addition to that, we also have some exercises. Okay, and if you have to be a good programmer, you have to solve these assignments. All the assignments are already uploaded. And the most important thing comes at the end, that's a quiz. So any topic that we discuss, you'll find quiz for all the topics that are discussed. Methods, multi-dimensional array, strings, GUI, recursion, inheritance, polymorphism, every topic, whichever we discuss, there is a quiz that is there, and that is for self-assessment. This is not a college where somebody is going to check your marks and your admissions are going to depend on it. This is for you to develop professionally. So you have to go through this assessment. So that's the model that we have. This is e-learning portal. Your learning will not be complete unless you make the best use of this e-learning portal that we have designed for you. Okay, so that was all about this e-learning portal that you have to access every day after every session. download the programs, take additional notes, take a quiz, solve assignments, submit the assignments there. That's for you to do it. We don't make it a compulsion. Whoever is interested will do it, and whoever does it will definitely be benefited. You are no kids that I'm going to say, "Arey, Balaji, आपने ये किया है क्या? Purva, did you solve these assignments?" Those who do it, you will get a feedback from my side. So that was about the e-learning portal that we have. So every day, I normally start with a presentation. Any topic that we're discussing, I'll actually go ahead with the presentation. And once I finish with the presentation for any theoretical topic or concepts that we have, once I finish with the presentation, after that, there will be a demonstration. Oh, sorry. Can you see the screen? Here we go. Once I finish with the presentation, it will be followed with a demonstration. Once the demonstration is done, the source code will be uploaded on the site from where you have to download. So post session, you have to download the source, read additional notes, try it out. Nobody has ever become a programmer without writing code. Huh? So coding is something which is very important. You can think about it. You can understand. You may be a very regular student. You may attend all my sessions, but unless you don't type, unless you don't write the programs, you will not get the confidence. So important thing is for you to type and write the programs. So that's something which is very important. So that's the model. How does it go ahead? And while you are learning this, those who already attended few sessions, especially for other language, I see Nurpati who comes from Python course over here. You just have to unmute yourself and ask a question. Not to hesitate. I'm into something, I'm explaining something. Now, how do I disturb Rishikesh? No. Unmute yourself. If you're not understood, will not proceed further. And believe me, it's a promise from my side. Very rarely you will have an opportunity, or I'll not give you that chance that you ask a question which is related to Java and you did not get an answer. Rarest of the rare case that may happen. And I keep that thing because somebody may come with something weird that I may not have heard of. But otherwise, 99% of the time, all your questions will be answered there and there itself. That's a promise from my side. In case if you are among that 1% who come with something very different, or the thing that has just come in recently in Java, which I may not have explored, that's a possibility because Java nowadays have 6-month cycle. Every 6 months, something new is coming up. And at times it becomes very difficult. Some new feature we may not have experimented with. So in that case, 1%, wherein I'll have a look at it and I'll come back. And I have a very good support team. I'm there. Swalia, she's there. And then there is Atish. So we work in a team. And we'll always be updating ourselves with all the technology stuff that is required. And since I'm also a Java professional, we have our own community. If you ask me a question for which for some reason, if it so happens, very rarely, or it may never happen. If you ask me a question, I could not figure it out. I have a very good support community which is there. I have been a part of this community for years together. I post the question over there, I immediately get an answer and I can come back to you. So none of your questions will go unanswered as long as they're related to the technology. Yeah? If you ask me who's going to win the next election, now that's not something that I can talk about. You're going to ask me whether Virat will hit a century in the next match. I do not know. Or whether IPL will be conducted. I don't know. Okay. But if it's anything to Java, I can definitely help you out with anything with the technology. Java, C, C++, Python, databases, SQL, PLSQL. These are my area of interest. And I have been working with them for a very long time. And Java especially, since 1996, I have been following Java. So it's a pretty long time. Right from Java 1.0, I have been following Java. And today it's almost Java 14, 15 is coming up now. So I have been working with Java. I adopted Java only when I got a very good hands-on on object-oriented concept. So although I had learned Java early days, but unless and until you don't understand object-oriented concept, you really do not get that, understand the power of this particular technology. So I found some of you do not have object-oriented knowledge. You have not done object-oriented programming. I invite you for some other discussion wherein we discuss object-oriented concept. So I'll be sharing a Google form for you. Those who do not have understanding about object-oriented concepts, I am starting with a C++ batch where we first 8 hours we discuss object-oriented concepts. I invite you for those sessions. Okay, no additional charge, but you have to come down and attend those things, because unless your object-oriented concepts are not clear, you cannot really write some serious code in Java. Java is an object-oriented language, and we are going to learn object-oriented programming in Java to a larger extent. Later, we'll go ahead with functional programming in Java, some other style, reflective coding in Java, that we'll do. But major part, we are going to write object-oriented programming in Java. So your object-oriented concepts have to be very, very clear, very, very clear. So that is all about how do we go ahead. Any queries before I start off with introduction to Java? Any questions, anybody? What a number, half century, exact 50 number we have. But there are 136 registrations, 50 have joined in today. We expect many more to join. Anybody has any question? Especially those who have joined for the first day, first time at Impetus. And Saloni, I'll be sending the link via mail to you all because I need to collect the information. So I'll be sending a mail to you and you have to respond to that mail. Say tomorrow you can respond me to the mail wherein there is a form that you have to fill in wherein I'll capture some information about you. I'll understand you better so that I can come with something suitable for you all. Like I understood, like many of you do not have object-oriented knowledge. Means you have not explored object-oriented programming. So I can provide you a solution for that. I can conduct some extra sessions for you all. So the more I understand you, better solution can I provide you. Otherwise, if I go ahead with an assumption that all of you are very good in object-oriented concepts and I proceed further, okay, firing all, then it would be difficult. No? So I need to understand you all better. So anybody has any concern, please unmute yourself and ask. Any questions, anybody? Today is just a general discussion wherein we'll also try and explore how the software scenario is. Okay. Any question, anybody? Just say hi at least. I'll understand you know how to turn off and turn on that particular mic and say something. Kavilyak, what's the problem? No? Okay, if you, anytime you have a query, you can either raise your hand, you can, if you have a query, you can raise a hand or click on no button that you get to see. Again, repeat those who joined later, hold your cell phone horizontally if you're working on cell phone. And when you hold it horizontally, you'll get a lot of options at the bottom. One of the options there is participants, where you'll get to see a lot of options which are there. Okay, option, wherein you'll get to see the yes, no button, go slower, go faster. I have an habit. It's a bad habit. But at this age, it's quite difficult for me to change also. I'm trying my best. I sometimes speak very fast. So before you give me that feedback, let me tell you that. But if I do speak very fast, it's for you to stop me. If you find somewhere, Arey, this fellow has just ran off, I couldn't gather what he said. Ask me to go slow. Ask me to repeat. I'll oblige. I will definitely repeat if anything has to be repeated. Sometimes when we, if you all understand Marathi, ती तंद्री लागली शिकवण्यात, मग कळत नाही आपण काय भाषा बोलतोय आणि किती फास्ट बोलतोय. That happens at times. So in case if it so happens you don't catch me, you can always ask me to repeat. And one more important thing, you are not going to get links every day. Now the same link that you have got today, through which you have registered, it's the same link throughout the course. Some fine day, if you switch over to some other, from Zoom to something else, then maybe I'll change the link. Otherwise, it's going to be the same link. So you got a confirmation mail. I'll be resending these mails once or twice, just because you may have missed out. Many of you have not joined. 50% of people have not joined today. Maybe they missed out how to join or something like that. So I'll be resharing the link with you, but once or twice, it is going to be the same link that you have got. And everybody has a unique link. Okay, everybody has a unique link. So don't share with somebody else. It's your link. You have to join in through that particular link. Over a period, we are going to make it compulsory for you to authenticate yourself. That means you'll have to create an account in Zoom, log in into Zoom, and then join it. But just for initial few sessions, I'm going to keep it open. You just click on that link and you can join. But we don't want anybody else to come into our meeting and disturb us. Yes or no? So we will have one level of layer of protection. So only authenticated people will come in. So we know who is there and we can catch hold of that fellow. If he's not amongst our batch, we can do that. So we'll be doing that later. But currently, initially we'll have open link. Click and join. Click and join. So that address. And who asked me that question? Who asked me that? Ritu asked me that question. Ritu, I would have appreciated if you unmuted yourself and you asked the question. I can understand Hindi, English, Marathi, Gujarati. So you can ask me question in any of those 4 languages. You can expect me to answer in English. Huh? Not that I'm Englishman. I'm very much Indian. I'm very much Marathi. I am proud of my native language, I mean, mother tongue. That's all fine. But this course will be conducted in English. But in case if you have some difficulty and if you want me to talk about it, certain things in Hindi or Marathi, I absolutely have no problem. No problem. But this, since it's a technical course, anyway, even if I switch to vernacular, I'll be using the same terms. Data input stream, I cannot tell you it in Hindi or Marathi. Na? That class name is going to remain the same. So language should not be a barrier for us. Okay. And it's all technical subject. Na? It's not like Hollywood movie or something like that, that every word, and I'm not that kind of person. It's like you must have immediately found out that Marathi accent also when I'm speaking. Okay. Any question, anybody? Ritu, could you just unmute yourself and ask the question that you had asked? Ritu has disappeared. No, you should not disappear if you ask your question. If Ritu has disappeared or she's there? Hello. Disappeared, it seems. Okay. So not to run away. If I ask you a question, quit the meeting. That shouldn't happen. Okay. Hi, she's there. Ritu, ask the question. Let me hear your voice.
सर लिंक वगैरे मिळेल का म्हणजे जर तुम्ही
अगदी मिळेल मेल येईल तुम्हाला instead of giving the okay, so do not hesitate, just unmute, ask in any of those 4 languages I said: Hindi, English, Marathi, Gujarati. The first 3 are very good. Gujarati I can understand but cannot really speak, and I'm equally good in Hindi, English, Marathi speaking wise. I am a Maharashtrian. Marathi तो आना चाहिए, येणारच. इंडियन, हिंदी तो आलस, हिंदी तो आना ही चाहिए. And English, global audience है. English तो बिना English तो कुछ हो नहीं सकता है. One has to understand English, isn't it? Unfortunately, in India, it's like almost a compulsion. Okay, so let's have a brief introduction. Today, before I start off with the subject as such, let us understand how the scenario is. Okay, so there is some discussion that I plan to have with you all. Okay, so a very simple discussion. What do you plan to understand today? Since we are learning, you all are learning this technology with some object in your mind. Not that you don't have anything else to do, so you have decided to take up programming as a language. You just want to spend some time. There is definitely an objective that we have. Why are we learning this technology? Or why you're investing your time, money, efforts in learning something new? Okay. So we need to understand what's the current software scenario. So what I want you to do is, this is an exercise. Those who attended this session earlier, it's a revision for you. But those who are doing it, coming here for the first time, we are talking about current software scenario. Okay, what's the current software scenario? Now to understand this, what I want you to do is, just quickly, each of you, 50 people, each of you, one after another, I'll call you to your name. And once I call out your name, what you're supposed to do is, you're just going to give me a name of one software. Each one of you, I'm going to call off your name. Each one I'm going to call off your, start calling your name. I'll start with all those whose name starts with A first, then B, and then C accordingly. I'm going to call out your name. You don't have to think, you have to think beforehand and give me a name of one software that you have used, heard, experimented, and you know about. One software you're going to tell me. Okay, so let's start with Abhijit. Quickly unmute yourself and give me a name of one software, Abhijit. Abhijit, we don't have time.
Sir, AutoCAD.
AutoCAD, very good. One software. Shailendra. One software, quick. Yes, Shailendra. Aditi, you have a doubt? Okay, Aditi, you give me one name of one software. Aditi Shinde.
AutoCAD, sir.
Hey, AutoCAD, he told. Somebody told AutoCAD earlier. Any other software? Yes, Aditi.
No, sir.
Arey, come on, one software. Currently, you're working on a software. You're joined to this particular course through a software. So you don't have to think about something very fancy. Any software that you have used, heard, any software. Quick. Akanksha,
Zoom, sir.
do it fast. We are here to learn programming. We want to become programmers. It's not just some course we have done. It's not a school or college anymore now. We have to be professionals. We need to understand. Yes, Akanksha?
Yeah, Katia.
But yeah, very good. Okay. Akshay, Munot. Quick. Yes, Akshay. Aman.
Google Chrome.
Good. That's a browser. Google Chrome. Very good. Then Amardeep.
Sir, Canva.
Canva. Good. Then Aman Singh. Hi, Aman Singh gave an answer. Anand.
Google Pay.
Google Pay. Very good. Anuja.
Sir, Truecaller.
Truecaller. Very good. Anushri.
So I'm working with CodeLight right now.
Great. Okay. Anushri. Anuja. Anushri. Asif.
Team viewer, sir.
Louder.
Team viewer.
Team viewer. Asif, you are a next student, na?
No, sir. I was previously with you, sir.
Pardon?
Sir, can you repeat the question, sir?
Are you a next student? Because we had a Asif in the last batch who had promised
Yes,
to
sir.
join
Yes, sir.
again.
I'm the same student, sir.
You are the same one. Okay, Delhi.
Yes. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Good evening. Balaji,
Sir, NetBeans.
NetBeans. Darshan,
Virtual Box.
very good. Deepak,
Alibaba.
louder.
Sir, Alibaba.
Alibaba is not a software. It's a company, na?
It's an e-commerce company, and it has its own software, sir.
Alibaba. No, it's a portal. There may be Alibaba.com.
Sir, it is an app, sir. Alibaba. It is also there in Play Store.
Alibaba, only Alibaba or Alibaba.com.
Yeah. Alibaba.
Alibaba. Okay, I was not aware. Dia,
BlueJ.
BlueJ, Ishan, Isha.
Sir, Anaconda for Python programming.
Good. Hitesh,
Sir, MATLAB, Adobe.
MATLAB. That's enough. One is good enough. Jatin,
7-zip. 7-zip.
louder.
7-zip.
7-zip. Okay, Kavelya.
Sir, Microsoft Office.
Very good. Something which is most often used. बाकी लोग जो बता रहे, this is the one that is most often used. Okay, Kavelya. Very good. Kaustubh. Kaustubh. Mahesh.
Media player.
Which one? Name. Media player is a category, na? Or do you have a software called as media player? Name of the software?
MX player.
Pardon? Media player is correct. It could be VLC. It could be some media player. Correct? Mansi?
Quickheal.
Quickheal. Very good. A different category altogether. All had missed. Megha? Monica? Nikhilesh?
Microsoft Excel
Or
and
Nikhilesh,
Zoom.
you missed out the batch also last sessions. So talk to me afterwards. Huh?
Okay.
Okay.
Microsoft Excel.
Somebody said MS Office. So Excel is done. So talk about something else.
Zoom.
Pardon?
Zoom.
Zoom. Yeah, very correct. We are connected through Zoom. So Zoom is one. All missed out. Okay. Nikhil?
Adobe Premiere Pro.
Yeah, very popular. Nupati?
Visio.
Visio. Yeah,
Visio.
very good. Pranjal? I'm not doing it for fun. There is some discussion that I plan to have. It's the first session. I'm going a bit slow, but there is some reason why I'm asking you. And when you are answering, just also listen to the answers that others are giving. So we need to understand the current software scenarios. What are the various kind of softwares which are there? What technologies one need to develop? What kind of software? Okay. So what are the peculiarities of those softwares is something that we need to understand. So do listen to every answer. Pranjal? Skype, very good. Hey, we did Zoom one. Skype is similar kind. Give me a different type. Although your answer is right, give me a different answer. Pranjal?
Firefox.
Louder?
Firefox.
But we did one browser earlier. Somebody had already given one browser. Some other thing? Yes, Pranjal? Both the answers are right, but I just want a different answer because somebody had already talked about a browser. Somebody had already talked about the kind of software that you talked about. Any other software that you have come across? Okay, give me an answer when you get one. Pratiksha? Louder, huh? अगर आपका voice कम है तो hold the mic near to your mouth and then ask.
Sir, Chrome.
ये browser हो गया ना? हाँ, कोई और बताओ ना.
No idea, sir.
अरे ऐसा कैसा होगा no idea? Thousands of software you know. You are just thinking about अरे would it be nice to give this answer or not? Don't hesitate. Give me an answer. Yes, come on. Prithviraj. Prithviraj. Praveen.
Sir, Spider.
Spider? Yeah. Which Spider?
Spider 4. For
Yeah,
Python.
I know. It's an editor. Okay. ID. Very good. That's my favorite ID anyway when I work in Python. And then Saloni.
Sir, Adobe Reader.
Adobe Reader. Okay. Rohan.
Sir, Netflix.
Yes. Vishwajit. Louder.
Sir, Linux.
Linux. Very important. Nobody touched upon operating system. One entire segment was missed out. Very good. Vishal.
Turbo C++. Sir.
Turbo C++. You're right, but give me some other name.
Sir, Uber.
Yes, Uber. Who is that? किसने आंसर दिया?
Pushpatai Tauraskar.
Yes, Uber. That's a good answer. Completely something somebody had missed out those segment. Tejas.
Terminal.
Louder.
Terminal.
No, give me some software and meaningful one. Terminal बहुत simple सी चीज बता रहा है.
Amazon.
Amazon what? Amazon.com?
Amazon software वो.
Amazon? Apps. Okay.
Sir, Linux.
हो गया ना Linux? किसी ने बताया Linux?
Sir, Tor.
Tor, yes. Skype, okay. Then, come on, it's open for everybody. Anybody can answer.
Azure.
PUBG, yes, PUBG, the gaming segment. Everybody forgot. Huh? Java है, serious बात करेंगे. PUBG की बात कैसे करेंगे? It's very popular. PUBG, yes.
VPN.
VPN, very good.
Facebook. Google Maps.
Google Maps.
My show.
Facebook, then
Photoshop.
Come on, quick.
Azure.
My show.
Azure, okay.
That's
Book my show,
Steam.
yes. Book my show. Hey, कहाँ का book my show याद दिला रहे? कोई show book नहीं हो रहा है अभी.
WinZip.
WinZip, yes. Okay. Now we had a nice exercise. We talked about so many different softwares which are there currently in the market. There are so many softwares which are currently available in the market. Why did we do all that exercise? That's to understand what are the different kind of softwares that we currently see or major categories of softwares that we have. Now, amongst the examples that you gave me, let us quickly count those examples. Somebody talked about some antivirus software. Somebody talked about Acrobat Reader. Somebody talked about Photoshop. Somebody talked about, there are so many examples that you give, antivirus software and so on. So these softwares that we talk about, most of the examples that you gave me were only of 2 different types of softwares. Take my word, only 2 kinds of softwares that you identified, and 1 or 2 examples, I got 3 kind of softwares that you identified. So there are different types of softwares which are currently available in the market. But then why do you want to know about what are the different kinds of softwares which are there in the market? The reason for that is, since you're going to learn Java, do you not want to have an understanding? If I know Java, if I'm very good in Java, what kind of softwares can I develop? And what kind of softwares I cannot develop? That understanding we should have. And that's the entire purpose of carrying out that small exercise. I normally start the session of Java with this small exercise, because this leads to a discussion where you will understand why should we learn Java. It's not like किसी ने कहा अरे बहुत सारे jobs available है, but we should really understand what to expect out of this particular course. So if I learn Java, what can I do and what can I not do? That is something that we have to have a very clear understanding. Otherwise, you will keep on experimenting using Java for a purpose for which Java is not suitable. And then you will say Java bakwas hai yaar, isse kaam nahi ho raha hai. But Java was not meant for that particular task. Should we not have that understanding? That's the only reason why I'll be talking about current software scenario. This will lead to the next discussion. What kind of softwares can be designed through Java and what kind of softwares cannot be designed through Java, and what are alternative technologies which are available. Java is not the end of the world. Na? If Java cannot do the task, we need to switch over to other technology. Say client comes to you. He says, I want this problem to be solved. You're going to tell him, अगर ये Java से हो सकता है तो ही solution मिलेगा, Java में नहीं होता है तो नहीं मिलेगा. Is that what you're going to do? You have to select the right technology that will address to that particular problem. Not that you are a Java developer, so throughout your life, you'll only provide solutions in Java. Technology, we should not fall like in love with the technology to an extent that you cannot think beyond it. We should always know alternatives which are available and what is best suited for that kind of problem. That technology has to be used. And if you cannot learn it, hire a resource who knows it. If you cannot hire a resource, outsource that work to somebody, but don't use wrong technology at wrong place. That's the entire discussion that we plan to have today in the next session, wherein I'm going to discuss certain things. So most of the examples that you gave me broadly belong to 2 or 3 different types of software. And the software that you all mentioned, most of them were all desktop application. Let me just count those desktop applications that you mentioned. You talked about Photoshop, you talked about Reader, you talked about antivirus software, you talked about MS Office, correct? Somebody said Excel, that's a part of MS Office. So all these softwares that you mentioned, most of them were all desktop application. Open your notebook and start taking notes. Huh? Now, when you talk about desktop application, what's so special about desktop application? Because say we are developing applications, na? The client is going to tell you, I want so-and-so kind of application. I want a monolithic application. No, I would like to have a different application. Don't you want to have an understanding as to what softwares are we talking about? What is the nature of that particular software? We need to have an understanding of those things. So common terminologies also we should understand. ये नहीं कि I know Java and I do not know anything where to use Java and what to do with Java. I don't know that. ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए हमारे साथ. So when you talk about desktop application, open your notebook and start taking notes. Huh? These are applications or programs which can run on a stand-alone machine. Now, what do you understand by stand-alone? Anybody? Nurpati?
So standalone applications, like they can act on their own. Like we don't have to like they don't require a specific set of other applications to work on those things.
You're missing on one word. Which is that? One keyword you're missing.
Sorry, sir.
Okay. Okay.
Sir, servers.
Servers. No.
Network.
Operating system. Very good. Very good. These are applications which do not require connectivity. They can run on a machine which is isolated, which is not even connected to any kind of network. They do not require any form of network, neither internet, neither Wi-Fi, neither LAN to work. They can run without any network. They can run on a standalone PC, on a network, any machine which is not connected to any form of network. But sometimes somebody talked about antivirus software. Don't you need antivirus software to be updated? Now for updating, don't you require internet connection or some kind of network connection? We do require. But tell me, if you're not connected to internet, then do you even need to upgrade the software? And while you're upgrading, it's like 24/7 every time you're upgrading. So at times connectivity may be required, but that connectivity is going to be intermittent connectivity. Constant internet connectivity is not required. What we require is an intermittent connectivity. Sometimes somewhere in between AutoCAD. Somebody mentioned AutoCAD. Somebody talked about CATIA. Now those who have worked on AutoCAD and CATIA, बिना इंटरनेट के AutoCAD और CATIA आपके मशीन पे रन नहीं करेगा. It can work on a separate machine which is not connected to any form of network, but AutoCAD में कोई version में upgrade हुआ है, तब आपको उसको download करना होगा. You will have to connect and new feature will get added. So it does not require constant internet connectivity. Does not require constant internet connectivity. Intermittent connectivity is okay. Intermittent बीच में connectivity रहेगा था, that's okay. That's normally required for upgrades and everything. But if I show you an example of a desktop application, MS Office happens to be the best example of a desktop application. So if you look at this MS Office, and if I just open up an MS Office application for you, suppose I open up Outlook Express because it's already open and I don't want to spend time opening that particular application. I do not know how many of you have really worked on MS Outlook, but even if you have seen that, just look at the menus. Have you even explored all the options which are available over here? Look at the options which are available. Is the screen visible, everybody?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now look at the options which are available. What all things we can do? We can move, we can set our roles, we can categorize, we can filter, we can read aloud, we can send or receive. So many options which are available. Watch it. The point that I'm trying to put across, or even if I take PowerPoint, and I bet you must have not even explored 25% of the options which are available. The basic things we know. But look at the options which are available. What all stuff you can do? Slideshows. There are so many different things we can do with that. Reviews, views. There are so many options which are available. Why am I talking about it? Because that's another important feature. So when we talk about this application, one very important feature that we have in desktop applications is they are functionally very rich. So when I talk about functionally very rich, that means we can actually perform a variety of operations. There are too many options which are available for you to do this, for you to do that, and so on. And those who have even worked on the simplest software like Acrobat Reader, today when the session gets over, just open up Acrobat Reader and look at the options which are available, things that we can do. And in Acrobat, I bet at most what you must have done is open up a file, read the file and close the file. These are the options that you may have used. Somebody amongst you may have someday filled the form or something like that, but most of you may have used Acrobat Reader only to read a file and close the file, nothing more than that. And you will find there is a scanner which is there, there are editing tools which are there, there's a marker which is there, there's a bookmark which is there. These are functionally very rich. Make a note. First, they can work on a standalone PC machine. They do not require any form of connectivity. And in case if a connectivity is required, it is intermittent connectivity which is required. Constant connectivity is not required. Constant connectivity. That means without internet it will not start. That's never going to happen. So they require intermittent connectivity and they're functionally very rich. Open up any application and see, you'll have n number of options. The application that you may have been using every day. Somebody talked about media player. I'll open a VLC for you. You must have seen and watched and played thousands of movies in VLC player. But today look at the options and you'll be surprised to see the number of options which are there. You can cut the movies, you can do n number of steps, you can mark a movie, and there are so many things. You can create a playlist. There are n number of options which are available because they are functionally very rich. They are functionally very rich. So that was something very important thing about desktop applications. So is desktop application all about all kind of application that we are talking about? No, there are different types of application. We also have web application. Many of you mentioned a lot of web applications. Lot of web applications you mentioned. Now, if we talk about web application, there is something very important about this web application. Okay. Anybody would like to tell me or contribute what exactly is a web application? Any idea? Anybody want to comment?
It is basically a website who has created their own app.
It's basically a website based. No. Look at this. Website and web application are totally different things. When you talk about a website, say you go to Wikipedia, that's a website. Or if you come to impedusits.com, impedusits.in, that's a website. It is only sharing information. That's not a web application. That's not a web application.
So, it requires a kind of connectivity with the, I mean, for example, if you consider internet banking,
yes.
So that requires a kind of authentication, and when we do that kind of authentication, we can go through browse.
That's a good example. Features. That's a good example and the appropriate example. But then I'm talking about key feature. I'm asking you feature. What kind of software will categorize as web application? Why did you call that as web application? Why did you not call Photoshop as a web application? And why did you call that banking application
They
web
follow.
application?
They follow client server model.
Very correct. They have a client server model. That means you have one server and there are clients which are connecting to that particular server. That means there is some kind of connectivity is there. It can be a LAN, WAN, or it could be an internet connectivity which is there, which is quite cheap nowadays. So there is a scenario where there is one client and there are several nodes which are connected to that particular client. So it actually will follow a client server architecture. So there will be some machine, there is one client, there is one server, and there are n number of clients which are connected to that particular server. So they will have such kind of connectivity over here. They will having such kind of connectivity. Just to put a simple diagram, if I want to draw, say if this is a server, oh no, I need to take a thicker line so that you don't realize how bad I'm at drawing. So if this is a server, okay, I call this a server. If this is a server, there will be n number of clients which are connected to that particular server. There are n number of clients which will be connected to the server. So I'll say there is this one client, there is this another client, and then there is this another client, and so on. There are n number of clients which are connected to server. So we had one server and there are n number of clients which are connected to server. So there is a client server architecture that is there. And when we are talking about this network, this network could be any form of network, but nowadays the most preferred form of network that we come across, this line that I'm drawing, this is some kind of network connectivity which is there. Nowadays this connectivity is usually internet, but that need not be the case. It could be any form of network, but there is some kind of connectivity which is there. So one point was very correct. So over here, we'll have a client server kind of technology. So we'll have a server machine and there will be n number of clients which are connected to that particular server. So we'll have a client server technology over here. Nurpati, is that right? Your banking application fits into it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So your banking application is not there on your mobile. It's not there in your desktop. It's actually there on the server and you're just opening a browser through which you're connecting to that particular banking server and through which you are transacting. But for that thing to happen, if the network connection is not there, can you log into your bank account?
No, that's not feasible.
Yes or no?
It's not feasible, sir.
It's not feasible. So we require constant connectivity. Look at that. In desktop application, we require intermittent connectivity, whereas in web application, what we require is a constant connectivity. We should constantly be connected to internet or network, whatever is the form of network. So constant connectivity is something which is a must in web applications. In desktop, it was intermittent connectivity. It was intermittent, whereas here it is constant connectivity, something that we require when you talk about these applications. So key features, web application, there is a client server model. Second, we require constant connectivity. Some form of connection is required. And most popular kind of connectivity that we have today is an internet kind of connectivity that we'll have. Okay. Something very important. I will not exceed much of a time. We started at, when did we start our session today?
7 o'clock.
Louder?
Sir, 7.
7. Okay, we have half an hour. 7 to 8:30 is what we're gonna have. We still have time. Okay. So when you talk about this web application, key feature, client server technology, there is a server and there are clients which are connected to that particular server. First. Second, we talked about there is a connectivity which is required. And the most common form of connectivity is internet. And third and most important over here, most important, here, I'll take the Nurpati's example, what he gave. He talked about a banking application. He said, I want to connect to the bank. There is some authentication which is done. And when I log in, it will ask me for username and password. Nurpati, you please answer me. When you're connecting to that application, say you have an account in SBI, when you're connecting to that application, when you enter that username and password, the checking whether username and password is correct or not, was it done on your machine?
No.
Then where was it done?
It goes to the server, like the
server.
detail.
So who did that authentication?
That is like on the
your
server
machine
side.
Or the server machine?
On the server side.
On the server side. So over here, what is happening is the majority of the processing workload is taken up by the server and not the client. Client usually is a dumb terminal. Was there any processing other than just input and output that you have done through your browser?
Nothing else. Like
nothing else. Even if you have a thin client that is there, some app that you have installed on your machine, even there, what is that app acting as? At the most, it could do some validation, like whether phone number ki jagah aapne character to nahi dala hai. That kind of validation it will do. But the real business processing, whether your username password is matching or not, aapke account mein balance hai ki nahi hai, who is doing? Is the interface that is there on your machine, an app that is installed on your machine, that is doing it, or the server is doing?
it has to be server.
Server. So the majority of the workload is taken up by the server, and your client machine mostly act as only an input-output device. Your client machine is acting mostly as an input-output device. So we have a dumb terminal at our end, where there is some kind of connectivity which is there, and it's only acting as an input-output device. It's just an interface that we have through which we are interacting with an application which is stored remotely somewhere on the server. So get that difference. So here we have a client-server architecture, but client is not taking on much of the workload, very little or nominal workload that the client will take. Most of the work will be done by the server. Most of the work will be done by the server. It is server which will take the responsibility to carry out all the processing. Workload will be taken up by the server, and client will only act as most like an input. And when the output comes, your transaction is successful, that message will come on the, but transaction was not done on your machine. Transaction happened somewhere else. Welcome to the bank, you are logged in successfully, or your login has failed. That message also came from the server. Your machine was only more like an input output. It was a touch point for your web application. It was just a touch point through which you interact with your application, which is there on the server side. So web application, quick revision: client server technology, server machine, number of clients connected to it, require connectivity, workload is taken up by the server, client is usually a dumb terminal, client act as more like an input output device, nothing much. In case if it does some kind of processing, is very little kind of workload it will take up. Most of the workload is taken up by the server. Any queries, anybody till now, whatever we have discussed? Just unmute yourself and ask if you have any question, anybody. Anybody has any question? Okay. These are live lecture. Although I cannot see you, you can see me. You can unmute yourself. You can ask the question. So I would be more than happy if you ask questions. I'll be more than happy, because then I'll feel I'm not speaking to the camera. I'll know that you are there, and that will give me, encourage me to talk about more, give you some more examples and so on. So we talked about two different types of applications. But then, are these the only kind of application that we come across in the market? No. There are other kind of applications, and the other kind of applications which are very popular are embedded applications. And unfortunately, none of you cited an example of an embedded application. You gave me at the most desktop web application, your bookmyshow.com web application. Somebody talked about Uber web application. So all, internet is down. Can you still book a car? Not possible. Internet is down. And can you still book a room for me somewhere else, or a movie for me? Not possible. So they're all web applications that we talked about. Now comes one segment all of you missed out, was embedded application. And you believe or not, these are the kind of applications that we interact most often. Take my word. These are the kind of applications that we interact most often. Today, everything around us has a digital heartbeat. When you now Sunday comes and you have to wash your clothes, you dump them into the washing machine, and then what do? Do you wash into the washing machine? No. There's a panel which is there which says heavy wash, quick wash, this wash and that wash. I don't read that much. Eco pe dal deta hu and it washes. What it is? But there is eco, there is kind of thing. So there is a panel, and we just make a selection, and that washes. That means that machine, washing machine also has a program which is running. Okay. So you may not be, many of you amongst boys may not have been washing your clothes on your own, or neither in the washing machine. But then micro oven rahega ghar mein. You have to cook food. Mom is not there, and then there is a small menu over there. Cook rice, biryani cook karo, this karo, and you keep that thing inside. Click the button. Whatever time, you don't even know for how long you have to cook that leg piece. Hai to kitne der cook karna, you don't even know that. You still keep it inside and press the button. It cooks for whatever time it wants, and then the thing is ready for you. That could be the case. Chalo, you don't even touch the thing. One thing you definitely touch is a remote, and every day you play with that particular device that is dumped on below your machine, below your television. There is a set-top box that is there. There is a program which is running. So, chalo, wo bhi nahi. Forget about this corona pandemic, but otherwise you used to drive your bike, and while you're driving your bike, you get to see what speed you're moving around. There's a panel which is there that shows you what is that. How do you get to know what speed you're traveling? Or fuel indicator, how much fuel is there, and in this fuel, how far you can go, how much is the fuel remaining in the tank. All those indicators, they are all embedded applications that we're talking about. And embedded applications are everywhere nowadays. The Philips lighting, wherein you can change the colors. You can, आज mood अलग है तो अलग color की lighting. So those things, all of them are embedded applications. Correct? But then one thing is very peculiar about embedded application. Has anybody, all these examples that I have cited, किसने कोई कुछ चीज pick की है क्या? What is peculiar about these embedded applications? Why am I calling them all the examples that I gave you? What was a striking feature was common between all of them? All the examples
independent.
Pardon?
They are independent.
That it doesn't reach to that point. Or kuch you would like to elaborate?
Not requiring any internet connection.
That is one. Yes, that's correct. But usse bhi zyada important.
Works on circuit.
Works on circuit. Every program works on a circuit.
Software which is placed in particular device.
Louder.
Software which are placed in particular device.
Software which are placed in a particular device. अभी मेरा PowerPoint भी तो इस device में है ना, मेरे laptop में है. The device तो है.
They have a predefined set of instructions which they have to follow.
Very correct. That's yeah, that's a very important point. They are not functionally rich.
Yeah,
like with MS Office and other things, you have n number of options which are there. That's not the case normally over here. Here, they will perform a limited task. So your indicator that is there on your vehicle, that speed indicator, will only give you the speed. It will not tell you about the temperature. It will not tell you about the climate. It will not do that. These are not general purpose application. These are very specific. We'll do only that task and nothing less or nothing more. They are specifically created for that particular task only. But that takes you to the most important aspect about it. Anybody?
Minimum hardware.
Louder?
Minimum hardware.
Yeah, hardware नहीं, just not the hardware. Bike है तो बहुत बड़ा hardware है. Yes or no? Bus है तो बहुत बड़ा hardware है.
Connection of hardware with the software.
नहीं.
We can control them.
Every software we can control. Come on, you can. Who said that minimum hardware? You are actually very near, but क्यों गलत है? Minimum train है, तो क्या minimum hardware है?
Minimum input for maximum output.
Yes and no. I cannot say no. Neither can I say yes. It is true at sometimes, not true at sometimes. Something which is always true about this. Okay. These all the examples that you cited, and the reason why you're giving me that example, these were all running on devices which are not traditional computers. When you said hardware, you are talking about devices which are not other than the computers. Now, for you to see that your speed on a bike, do you have a computer installed inside it? When you go into a vacuum machine or a washing machine, is there a computer installed inside it? There is a microprocessor or microcontroller or something else, and that has a digital heartbeat. That it has a very limited processing power. That's the reason, Nurpati, what you said, it has a limited kind of performance or task that it can do. It is designed for a specific task because the processing power is also quite limited. Okay, it is meant for carrying out that specific task, not for general purpose operation. You cannot play games on a micro one. That cannot be done. Okay, so your laptop we talk about, your desktop that we talk about, these are general purpose machine. You can do variety of, I can play game, I can write a program, I can do this, I can watch a movie, all those things. Can you do it on the devices which are not a computer? So these are all devices which are not computer. Your bike, your television, your set-top box, your micro oven, your washing machine, your bike, your car, where you have automatic climate control. बाहर का हवा ठंड हो तो अंदर गरम, गरम है तो अंदर बाहर, whatever it is. So all those things happen for you automatically. These are all softwares which are running on devices which are not traditional computer. Now when I talk about traditional computer, you have a monitor, you have a keyboard, you have a mouse. These are all this computer system, regular computer system. We don't have that. It has limited processing power. It is not like your desktop or a web application which will have tremendous power. It will have enough of memory. How much of the memory is installed in your washing machine or a micro oven or a Philips bulb wherein you can control the light intensity and everything? Very little, but there is a program that is definitely there. Okay, so these are running on devices which are not traditional computers. Make a note of it. I want everybody to have a note of it. आज जो भी रहेगा आपके सामने उसमें नोट कर लीजिएगा. Next time I'm going to check your notebook sometime. I can ask randomly कि Ritu notebook दिखाओ आपका. I can definitely ask somebody at any point of time. And you should have the things with you. I can say, Tejas, show me what your notes are. So I may ask anybody at any time. So make sure that you take a note. It's not for me, it's for you. Because that's how you remember. अभी ये सुनने में बहुत आसान लग रहा है. I understood. And 2 days down the line, याद नहीं आ रहा है सर, वो exactly क्या कहा था. Okay, that shouldn't happen. So they don't require connectivity. Somebody mentioned that. That's very correct. कोई फॉर्म ऑफ कनेक्टिव इंटरनेट की जरूरत नहीं है. अगर हो भी तो इंटरमिटेंट रहेगा, बहुत रेयरली. रेगुलर कनेक्शन की जरूरत नहीं है. So does not require internet or network, and especially internet की तो जरूरत होती ही नहीं most of the time. Very rarely it will require to connect. Second, it has a very little, these devices on which it runs have very little processing power. So very limited processing power. So the programs are not general purpose. They are specific program carrying out specific task. Specific task. उतने ही काम के लिए बनाया गया. You cannot run any other program on it. You cannot run any other program on it. So these are devices other than traditional computers on which these programs work. These programs perform a specific task. Okay, they are not general purpose kind of programs, devices on which any program can run. A specific kind of application can run on that particular device. Okay, they do not require connectivity. They do not have huge processing power. So complex operations normally do not happen. That can happen sometimes, but normally that's not the case. They perform a specific task. And especially they are running on devices which are not traditional computers. What is involved there? Maybe a microcontroller or a microprocessor is there which will take care of connectivity with other devices. They're meant for controlling devices. They're meant for giving you signals and so on. So those are all embedded applications. And for that also we need to write a program. We need to write a program. We have to see in this entire software scenario, where does Java fit in? That's what we need to understand. And जहाँ Java नहीं है, वहाँ alternative क्या है हमारे पास? What's the alternative that we have if I want to design that kind of software? So we talked about desktop, we talked about web, we talked about embedded application. The other kind of application that you may come across in the market is distributed application. And unfortunately, I had only one or two examples, not many examples. Now, can anybody quickly tell me what comes to your mind when you hear a term called as distributed applications? Anybody?
So like Adobe Photoshop, Adobe Premiere Pro, like
they are desktop applications. याद करो, Adobe Premiere, Photoshop में आप अपने मशीन पे कनेक्ट कर लो, इंटरनेट कुछ नहीं रहेगा, then also it will work on your machine. Yes or no?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
They were desktop and they are functionally very rich. Photoshop तो डरावना है. The number of menus that we have are वो जो आपको दिखाई देते हैं उससे ज़्यादा भी है जो hidden है. You have to activate. And it is a nightmare to see the options which are available. It will take you years to master that Photoshop. It's that kind of complex kind of software which is there. And I'm going to talk about it. इसे develop किसमें किया है. That's what we have to reach. But that
they are based on cloud computing.
Louder?
They are based on cloud computing, like different cloud platforms.
यानी
like
जब तक
GCP.
cloud नहीं था उसके पहले distributed application नहीं थे हमारे पास.
Web browser.
Pardon?
Web browser.
No, web browser are not desktop applications. They're distributed. Neither they are distributed
They can
applications. They
can work on multiple systems, multiple computers.
They can work on multiple systems. No. कौन था? जतिन था क्या?
No sir. Akshay.
What's your name?
Akshay.
Akshay. No, Akshay. You are. Look at this. अगर आपको आंसर मालूम है, अगर आप सही, you cannot put it across correctly. उसके लिए एक्सरसाइज है ये. During the sessions, you have a chance to express yourself. नहीं तो क्या होता है in interviews, you know it, but what you say does not convey what you wanted to say. तो जितने आप आंसर दोगे ना, उतनी आपको आदत बनेगी to convey your answers in a proper way. तो selecting the right words is also very important. You should convey what you really meant. मुझे समझ में आ रहा है आप क्या कह रहे हो. मैं हाँ भी कह के उसको आंसर क्लियर जरा अलग वर्ड में डाल सकता था, but you have not selected the right words. Yes, anybody else?
So it's like the applications are on a specific network, it is distributed across a set of users that can use that kind of application, and nobody has other than those users have an access to that.
Very correct. So one thing that you correctly pointed over here is there is some network that is required over here. So that's one key point over here. There is some network, may not be internet, but some form of network is definitely required. It could be intranet, it could be internet, some form of network is definitely required. And if network is required, you talk about users. Yes, somebody wants to add?
Telephone network.
Any kind of network will do, by which communication can be established. But what example Nupati cited was right.
Operating system हो सकता है क्या?
Louder?
Operating system हो सकता है क्या?
Louder. Hold the mic near to your mouth.
Sir, it may be a operating system.
Operating system is not a distributed application.
Okay, sir.
Nurpati ने जो example दिया, that was perfect. But then he identified only two words. He used important words. First he talked about network, and second he talked about users. तो उसमें कुछ और एक term आना चाहिए था. So two important terms did he said network है और कई सारे users है and nobody else can come into it and there are some limited users which are acting on it.
Sir, these are basically those applications which can be handled parallelly at the same time.
Parallelly at the same time. Yes.
Over
and no.
different networks.
Different networks, no?
Like ATM machine.
Yes, to some extent. Yes, to some extent.
Used
but की फीचर बताओ ना, एग्जांपल नहीं पूछा मैं अभी आपको. एग्जांपल तो नुपति ने एग्जांपल जो होता है that was perfect. What he explained was perfect example. You don't need an additional example. But then मुझे की पॉइंट चाहिए, क्या समझ में आया? How do you classify it?
So they can act as a standalone piece of software on that particular node, or I can say that like.
Yes, you are reaching very near to the answer, but then you are not using the right terms. Okay. Now what he's saying is, he's saying we can use it as a standalone application. But Nirupati, it will not fulfill the entire task. You can definitely use a stand. Let me give an example, just to continue the example. Okay, what happens? Say Bajaj has showrooms across India. Bajaj has a manufacturing plant in Pune, but it doesn't have manufacturing plant in every state in India. But then from Pune, they ship their two-wheelers across India. But is it like Rahul Bajaj sits one day and thinks, चलो आज है ना ये वाली गाड़ी के 10 पीस बनाते हैं और वो वाली गाड़ी के आज 15 पीस बनाते हैं? Is that what he does? और does he goes to astrologer की बताओ यार बाबा यार, या टॉस कर लेता है how many कितने vehicles कौन से बनाने हैं? That never happens. So there are agencies, there are distributors for Bajaj across India. These distributors take orders from the customer, correct? They process the order at their place. Like what he's saying, कि वो एक standalone machine पे काम कर सकता है. When you go to that showroom and when you book an bike, so when they book, they will tell you ये delivery 7 दिन के बाद होगी, 4 दिन के बाद होगी, whatever it is. But your entire order is processed by the distributor at his end as if it's a desktop application is running. You are not knowing, but as if it looks like desktop application. वो slip भी आपको print करके देगा. Everything will happen at his end. But then what will happen is at the day end, all the orders that he has collected will now be forwarded through that system to the server, which is there in Akurdi. And the server will not just receive orders which have been from Pune or Hadapsar or Kamchet or Lonavala. You will get orders from across India. Now, all the orders that comes across India will be for variety of vehicles, bikes, the models that Bajaj sells. Maybe there are 15 models. So you'll get n number of orders for those 15 models. So entire data that comes across India, and they are a big player in Southeast Asia and Africa especially. So जहाँ से order आएंगे, their orders will all be, that server which is there will actually be a very, very powerful machine that can process that records that are coming across the world. जहाँ से आ रहे orders, it will process it and then will create a schedule कि कौन से मॉडल की कितने गाड़ी कब तक डिलीवर बनाने चाहिए. That module it will create depending on उनकी कंपनी की कैपेसिटी क्या है, टाइम टेबल बना देगा. And accordingly, that production team will start with the production and so on. So what is happening over here? The client side, that is the distributor, has a software which is connected to the server. The distributor software is also intelligent. It did partial processing. आधा काम उसने कर लिया और बाकी का काम it send the data for the further processing to a production का schedule बनाने वाला processing के लिए it send it to the company. But part of the work was done by the client and part of the work was done by the server. So the client machine is also intelligent, is also having a lot of processing power, and the server is tremendously powerful. Normally in distributed machines, softwares, you have servers which are mainframe machines, very powerful machines which can perform that dedicated task for a very long time. So those kind of mainframes and big server machines are installed at Akurdi in Pune. And the client machines, they may have your i5, i7, whatever server kind of machines or some server machines. So server means powerful machines. They are doing that regular day-to-day work. And then the data is shipped to the server. It was not like banking application where transaction enter karte hi that information goes to the server. That may not be the case. Partial work is done on the client side and partial work is done on the server side. So again over here, we had the same client server technology. So we had the similar client server technology over here as well. So we had a server machine, and then we had a lot of clients which were connected to that server machine. We had a lot of clients which are connected to the server machine. But the difference over here this time around is your server is powerful, very, very intelligent with lots of processing power, and your clients are also not dumb. Your client machines are also quite powerful. they are also doing the partial processing. So partial work processing has been done at the client end and partial work has been done at the server end. So both are engaged in processing. Web application also we had a network, but over there majority of the work was done by the server and very little work was done by the client. Very little work was done by the client, and that's not the case over here. Here server and the client, both of them share the workload. Both of them share the workload. So these are distributed application where we do not have dumb terminals. Your device, client device, is not just an input output device. It is doing some kind of processing. So there is a software which is installed on the client side and there is a software which is installed on the server side. Both of them are interacting and both of them are doing partial processing of data. Both are involved in processing. Part of the work done by the client side and part of the work done on the server side. Nurpati, does it explain you what you're trying to do? Explain.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that was an example you were saying, na? User and the server.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you all understood the difference between web application and distributed application? Web normally requires connectivity and that is internet. Distributed says any kind of connectivity will do. LAN, WAN, kuch bhi chalega. You cannot log into Bajaj ka dealers network. That's not possible. It's closed network, normally limited to their own entities, distributed networks. Web applications normally are accessible to anybody and most of the people. Okay. But distributed is a closed system that they will have their own form of network, virtual private networks and something like that. They will have their own dedicated networks also for it, if need be. They require connectivity. It can be some wide area network that is there. It could be internet. It could be some other kind of connectivity, but they will require connectivity. It could be lease lines. It may not just be web. It may not just be web. They require connectivity. So there is a server and a client, but both of them are intelligent. Server is also intelligent and client is also intelligent. So intelligent machines are interacting. Both of them divide the workload. Aadha kaam server karega, aadha kaam client karega. Both of them are doing the workload. So those are distributed applications that we talked about. Especially, jo example maine diya for Bajaj and things, that could be example. Financial institution, jaha आपके सेल्स टच पॉइंट पे सेल हो रहा है एंड आपके कॉर्पोरेट ऑफिस में ऑल इंडिया के सेल का कंसोलिडेटेड फिगर्स आ रहे हैं कि आज आपने what sales happened and everything that happened. So that could also be the example of a distributed application. So they're slightly different than web application. They require connectivity, may not be internet, any form of connectivity. Server and client both are intelligent. Both of them take the workload. दोनों side पे काम हो रहा है. It's not just the server which takes the workload. Is that okay? Everybody understood the difference between web and distributed?
Yes, sir.
Okay. We will not go further because there is it will take us some time. It's the first day. I do not want to stretch you too much. We have identified 4 different types of application, and believe me, there are 5 more different kinds of software that we have to know about. So next session we'll talk about understand this entire software scenario. आज market क्या है समझेंगे, कौन-कौन से type के softwares हैं, to develop which software, what technology you have to master, general knowledge भी तो चाहिए, and Java करने पर इनमें से आप कौन-कौन से software Java के through develop कर सकते हो. That is what I want you to understand. Okay, and after that we'll understand what is Java. Okay, I know you know, most of you know Java, but I'll just explain you what exactly is Java, and it will definitely be different than what you are thinking about Java. Okay, so with this short introduction, we'll stop over here today. And if you have any questions regarding whatever we discussed so far, you are most welcome. Any question regarding what you have discussed so far? If you understood what you have discussed, please click on yes. So I need to get a feedback. And if you're not understood, please click on no. That's more of the important. I can get back to you if you are not understood something. We can discuss. And if you understood, click on yes. Thank you, Rameshwar. If you liked it, give a thumbs up. I'll also feel good because I cannot see your face. Nah? Sometimes when I look at your face, I understand. You say he's happy today.
Sir, can we put torrent in distributed criteria? Can we put torrent in the distributed criteria?
No, torrents are web. देखो ना, टॉरेंट आपके क्लाइंट साइड पे क्या होता है, एक ब्राउजर होता है जिसके थ्रू आप एप्लीकेशन एक्सेस करते हो, या फिर एक थिन क्लाइंट होता है. प्रोसेसिंग आपके यहाँ कुछ नहीं हो रहा है, एवरीथिंग इज हैपनिंग ऑन द सर्वर. दैट वाज अ वेब एप्लीकेशन. यू कैन कम विद एग्जांपल्स एंड आई विल एक्सप्लेन. हितेश, जतिन, निखिल, प्रतीक्षा, पृथ्वीराज, पुष्पाताई, गिव मी फीडबैक, यस नो, समथिंग गुड बैड, फीडबैक तो चाहिए ना. आई स्पोकन फॉर 1.5 hour, मुझे पता चलना चाहिए गलत बात की है सही बात की है. तेजस.
Sir, in web application and distributed application has some kind of similarity. Like you told that distributed application need more powerful servers, but they have some kind of similarities, right?
सिमिलरिटी कैसा है? दोनों में नेटवर्क है. सिमिलरिटी क्या है? दोनों में क्लाइंट सर्वर है.
हाँ.
डिफरेंसेस क्या है? वेब में सर्वर पूरी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी ले रहा है या 90% रिस्पॉन्स सर्वर ले रहा है प्रोसेसिंग की, क्लाइंट साइड बहुत कम काम कर रहा है. डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड में दोनों काम काफी ज्यादा, क्लाइंट इज आल्सो डूइंग लॉट ऑफ स्टफ वर्क. सर्वर वेब एप्लीकेशन में क्लाइंट कुड बी डम टर्मिनल जहां इंटरनेट कनेक्टिविटी काफी है. वेब के लिए इंटरनेट ही चाहिए, एंड फॉर डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड इंटरनेट चलेगा, कोई भी फॉर्म ऑफ नेटवर्क चलेगा, इंटरनेट ही चाहिए ऐसा कोई जरूरी नहीं है.
Yes sir, yes sir.
रादर मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम इंटरनेट नहीं रहेगा.
Okay, any kind of network.
हाँ, नेटवर्क चाहिए, मतलब नेटवर्क चाहिए. और वेब नॉर्मली सबके लिए ओपन होता है, वहाँ ऑथेंटिकेशन रहेगा. और ये जो डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड होता है वहाँ आप लॉगिन भी नहीं कर सकते. यू कैन नॉट इवन सी वेदर एप्लीकेशन इज नॉर्मली इंट्रानेट पे होता है. इंटरनेट पे नहीं, इंट्रानेट, उनका खुद का नेटवर्क. मिलिट्री, बिग कॉर्पोरेशंस.
Yes sir.
सोरेन, प्रतीक्षा पवार, पुष्पा ताई, इफ यू आर देयर, रियाज. Okay, so we stop here today and we continue with our discussion the next time, wherein we'll go ahead and understand what are the different additional kind of softwares which are currently there in the market, and to develop with software, what technology do you need to master, because that understanding you need to have. कल अगर आपको लगता है मुझे embedded में ही करियर करना है, मालूम भी तो होना चाहिए ना सॉफ्टवेयर क्या पढ़ना जरूरी है. नहीं कोई कहता है यार मुझे डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड एप्लीकेशन ही बनाने हैं, तो you should know what are the options which are available, because you are not always going to be a junior programmer na. Someday you will graduate to become a senior guy where you have to take a decision क्या software use करना है क्या नहीं use करना है. And I want you as my student to have a bigger understand lot of things. ये नहीं मुझे सिर्फ एक कोड लिखने आता है सर, उसके अलावा मुझे आगे पीछे कुछ नहीं मालूम. I don't want you to do that. I want you to develop softwares, and develop करने के लिए आपको current scenario options मालूम होने चाहिए. Okay, that's all for today. Thank you and good night. If you have any query, I'm still available for another 5-10 minutes. You can ask me any queries that you have. कुछ भी क्वेश्चन है, जनरल क्वेश्चन है कि कैसे होने वाला है कोर्स में, सिलेबस क्या है, कुछ है, आई एम देयर फॉर यू टू आंसर द क्वेश्चंस. बट डिस्कशन यहाँ रोकते हैं आज. नेक्स्ट सेशन डे आफ्टर टुमारो वी मीट एंड विल टेक फर्दर दिस डिस्कशन. अगर आपको पसंद आया है दिस सेशन, डू इनवाइट योर फ्रेंड्स एज वेल फॉर द सेशन. थैंक यू ऑल, गुड नाइट, लव यू.
Sir,
Yes,
sir, what will be the time of the session?
7 o'clock is what we are thinking.
Okay.
Majority चाहिए वही चाहिए. 7 to 8:30 is what we are thinking.
So it will be like Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday.
Louder.
It will be on Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, or it's like
आज क्या है? Thursday है ना?
Right.
So yes, that's the schedule. Tuesday every alternate day.
Okay. Thank you sir. Good night.
आगे जाके थोड़ा सा परेशान करूँगा, कभी कभार एक्स्ट्रा लेक्चर लूँगा संडेज को.
अच्छा nice.
Okay. Otherwise,
Thank you sir. Good night.
Bye. Good night.
सर मेरे सर मेरे जो पहले के सेशन छूट गए थे, फिर मैं कैसे कांटेक्ट करूं?
निखिलेश क्या?
हाँ
निखिलेश, जावा का तो ये पहला ही सेशन है. जावा का नहीं छूटा आपका, आपके पाइथन के छूटे हैं.
ओके,
ये जावा का तो पहला सेशन है. यू हैव नॉट मिस्ड एनीथिंग इन जावा. दिस इज जस्ट इंट्रोडक्शन. आई एम टॉकिंग लास्ट सेमेस्टर आपने पाइथन ज्वाइन किया था, आपके काफी सारे आपने ऑनलाइन में मिस किए लेक्चर, ज्वाइन नहीं किया बाद में.
हाँ
तो क्यों नाही किया?
मला वाटलं ते परत सेटिंग वाचून होते.
बरं ठीक आहे, आता नवीन बॅच पण पायथनची हवा असेल तर नवीन बॅचला पण जॉईन करा, पण तुमचं मागचं राहिले पायथन ते कव्हर करा.
ओके.
हां, आता इंटरेस्ट असेल तर मला सांगा, मेल टाका, मी तुम्हाला आता नवीन बॅचचं पण लिंक देतो पाहिजे तर. ठीक आहे?
ओके.
पण ते कव्हर करा, तुमचं राहून गेलंय पायथन. पायथन नाही, सी प्लस प्लस राहिलं का पायथन राहिलं तुमचं?
माझं सी राहिलेलं.
सी राहिलं होतं. मग सी ची
पायथन माझं फर्स्ट सेमिस्टर मध्ये होतं.
अच्छा, मग तुम्ही कुठली बॅच जॉईन केली होती? गेल्या वेळी कुठल्या बॅचला होता तुम्ही? माझ्याकडे काय शिकायला आलता?
फर्स्ट सेमिस्टर मध्ये माझं पीपीएस होतं, तर पायथन होतं तेव्हा, आणि सेकंड सेमिस्टर मध्ये मी सी ला लेट जॉईन केलेलं.
सी ला. मग सी ची आता एक नवीन बॅच पण आहे, त्यात पण जॉईन करू शकता तुम्ही. तर तुम्हाला जे कंटिन्यू करायचं मागचं सुटलेलं असेल ते आपण कव्हर करू शकतो तुमच्यासाठी परत.
ओके.
ठीक आहे. जावा मात्र पहिलाच दिवस आहे आपला. मेल टाका मला, तुमच्याकडे मेल आहे माझा.
सर,
येस प्लीज.
Can we learn two languages simultaneously,
Yes,
like
why
at the
not?
same
Why
time?
not? Which language you are planning to learn to simultaneously?
C++ and Java.
Yeah, that could be a good choice rather. Because C++ में ना, you are learning with me or where else? Somewhere else.
So I was just doing on websites, learning
वेबसाइट
from
पे नहीं होता है,
websites.
वेबसाइट पे नहीं होता है, because they talk nonsense, मालूम भी नहीं होता है कौन सा सही साइट है कौन सा नहीं है, and
Yeah.
there is a lot of misinformation which is available. तो approach some trainer, हमसे सीखो या कहीं और से सीखो, but let there be some professional trainer which is there, या घर में कोई आपको गाइड करने वाला है तो, otherwise you will get lost and you will learn some wrong stuff. Especially C++ में अगर आप पढ़ रहे हो तो ऑब्जेक्ट ओरिएंटेड कॉन्सेप्ट बहुत क्लियर हो जाएंगे, एंड वो क्लियर होने पर जावा में प्रोग्रामिंग करते समय बहुत आसानी होगी. So you can definitely learn two languages, C++ and Java. You can definitely learn, but C++ will give you a chance to focus more on the fundamental concepts, and Java will give you a chance to develop applications. So concept clear है और फिर application में आते हो तो that's very nice. So C++ Java is a good combination to learn, but then वो खुद होके जब करते हो क्या पढ़ना है आपको मालूम ही नहीं है तो क्या पढ़ोगे आप, कैसे सिलेक्ट करोगे ये साइट अच्छा है या नहीं है ना. एंड जो वीडियोस है मैं देखता हूँ, they cover C++ in 12 hours. कि 15 घंटे में C++, अरे 15 घंटे में इंट्रोडक्शन भी खत्म नहीं होता है C++ का, ऑब्जेक्ट एंड कॉन्सेप्ट के लिए हमें 8-10 घंटे लगते हैं.
Right.
तो वो तो सिर्फ इंट्रोडक्शन हो जाता है कि हाँ क्या क्या है सब्जेक्ट टॉपिक सिलेबस में, दे डोंट टच ऑन दैट टॉपिक, उसे लैंग्वेज में आप नहीं पढ़ पाओगे. दैट्स माय पर्सनल ओपिनियन ना, नॉट दैट बिकॉज आई एम अ ट्रेनर, बिकॉज मैं भी जब खुद पढ़ता हूँ ना, व्हेन आई हैव टू लर्न अ न्यू टेक्नोलॉजी, मैं डेफिनेटली वेबसाइट्स पे सर्च करता हूँ, गूगल या देखता हूँ टू अंडरस्टैंड क्या 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 है उसमें, बट आई ऑल्सो हायर सम ट्रेनर who can come down and teach me, or I join some programs and attend sessions like a student so that we get that insight into it. So there is somebody to help us on the way. कोई query है तो उसके लिए गूगल सर्च करते बैठो, एक गूगल सर्च करो 10 पेजेस आते हैं और उसमें से कौन सही कह रहा है कौन गलत कह रहा है मालूम नहीं है. एक्सपर्ट से पढ़ोगे, he will show you the right direction. Not that जावा के लिए भी मेरे पास आए हो आप, सारा कुछ जावा में होगा, अरे मैं ही कवर कर रहा हूँ जावा इतना वास्ट है, but I can at least show you the right way. I personally also approach trainers to learn any technology because then we don't get lost, because एक तो time limited है और कितना experiment करते बैठेंगे ना.
So then when do I get link for your C++ course?
If you are interested, Anushri na?
Yes sir.
I ask my team. Monica, please note Anushri is interested in C++ as well, so share the links with her also.
Sir, I am Pratiksha. I am also interested in C++.
I will definitely share with you all. मैं एक काम करता हूँ पूरे जावा के बैच के साथ है ना, एक बार C++ का भी एक साइकिल शेयर करता हूँ लिंक, so you will know this week we plan to start, next week we plan to start, first week of August we plan to start with C++, and believe me I'll give a very different perspective to object oriented concept. जो भी आपने बुक्स में पढ़ा रहेगा, किसी ने आपको समझाया रहेगा, exactly object oriented concept क्या है वो C++ में पढ़ने का मौका हमें मिलता है, and you will be very confident programmer because C++ is far difficult than Java as far as syntax हो, और जिसने C++ कर लिया उसके बाकी लैंग्वेजेस तो इजी है पढ़ना.
Okay sir, thank you sir.
My pleasure.
Thank you sir.
My pleasure.
Sir, I have done half of your lectures of C++, like then after that I was not able to attend the lecture.
तो आपने ज्वाइन किया था ना कोर्स?
Yes sir, C आपके साथ किया था, C++ किया था, C++ के हाफ के बाद नहीं किया.
अगर आप एनरोल्ड थे कोर्स में तो आपको भी वैसे भी फ्री है, आप वैसे भी ज्वाइन कर सकते हो अगर आपने एनरोल किया था तो. अगर नहीं किया था एनरोल तो अभी फी भर के कर सकते हो, और पहले फी पे की रहेगी तो अभी कुछ नहीं करना है, अभी तो लेक्चर ज्वाइन कर सकते हो डायरेक्टली.
हाँ, एडवांस फी पे की थी पहले, मतलब जब C के साथ C और C++ का एक साथ किया था.
तो आप ज्वाइन कर कंटिन्यू कर सकते हैं ना, आपको कोई एडिशनल चार्ज भरने की जरूरत नहीं है.
नहीं सर, एडवांस फी पे किया था C++ का, मतलब उन्होंने बोला था कि C और C++ का एक साथ फी पे करोगे तो कंसेशन मिलता है, तो C के समय पे किया था उसके बाद.
वही ना, आपने एडमिशन लिया था तो आपको कंटिन्यू हो जाएगा, आपको फ्री में मिल जाएगा, आपको एडिशनल कोई पे करने की जरूरत नहीं एडिशनल फीस.
ओके सर, सो लिंक इस
आई विल शेयर विद यू ना, अभी
ओके
हफ्ते बैच चल रहा है, आई विल शेयर सबके साथ शेयर करूंगा. आप सिर्फ अपने रिसीट्स वगैरह डिटेल में रखो, स्टाफ कोई पूछता है तो उनको अपने रिसीट दिखा दो.
ओके ओके सर, डन.
यू डोंट हैव टू पे एनीथिंग मोर.
Sir,
Yes,
Vishal
please.
here.
Yes,
In
Vishal.
case if we miss an lecture, let's
I
say.
forgot. You should have asked this earlier. Huh? जो भी बाकी लोग हैं, in case if you miss a lecture, in case it should not happen a regular thing, recording can be played for you. That's not a problem. Some of the lectures will be uploaded on the YouTube, not all lectures. But अगर आपने कोई lecture in case miss किया, we'll play the recording for you. Every lecture is recorded. तो आपके लिए recording play की जाएगी. You just have to send a request to Swalia madam or Monica madam. They will share the link with you. वो एक 24 घंटे के लिए recording आपके पास रहेगा available.
Sir, but like I am a working professional, so sometimes it might happen that a series of lectures have been missed. So
ऐसा
I'm
कितना होगा?
fearing ऐसे ज्यादा नहीं होगा.
जब भी होगा देखो ना, आई कैन इमीडिएटली अंडरस्टैंड कौन जानबूझ के कर रहा है, किसका सीरियस जेन्युइन प्रॉब्लम है. तो वी डोंट हैव एनीथिंग लाइक आपके किसी दिन ऐसा हो गया है कि यू आर आउट ऑफ स्टेशन एंड आपको 4 दिन मिस करना पड़ा, यू हैव टू 4 सेशन मिस किए, वी कैन मैनेज दैट, बट वी कैन इमीडिएटली अंडरस्टैंड. कई लोग क्या करते हैं ना, लेक्चर अटेंड नहीं करते एंड दे वांट रिकॉर्डिंग, और रिकॉर्डिंग तो मुझसे भी बढ़िया लोग हैं ना इंटरनेट पे जो बात करते हैं. रिकॉर्डिंग में वो लर्निंग नहीं होता है. लाइव में क्या होता है, आई आस्क यू, यू आर देयर, हम फोकस करके उसी टाइम में डिवोट करते हैं ना, ये टाइम कि मुझे अभी ये 2 घंटे जावा के लिए देने, से जो पढ़ना है वो अलग लर्निंग होता है. और जब हम लोग सोचते हैं ना, हाँ मैं देखूंगा वीडियो, अरे वीडियो आपके पास है ना, इतने सारे वीडियोस रहेंगे ना, आधे तो देखा भी नहीं जाता है. तो कंटिन्यूटी में रहेगा तो आई अंडरस्टैंड कि किसी दिन आपका 2-3 लेक्चर मिस हो गए, तो आपने कहा सर मुझे अगले सेशन के पहले कवर करना है, वी कैन डेफिनेटली शेयर विथ यू. आई कैन अंडरस्टैंड दैट जेन्युइन केस तो हमें समझ में आता है, इतने सालों से बिजनेस में है ना हम लोग, वी कैन आइडेंटिफाई कौन जेन्युइन है और कौन सिर्फ रिकॉर्डिंग मांग रहा है और पढ़ने सुनने वाला नहीं है.
Yes, sir.
We will share, don't worry.
Thank
Especially
you, sir.
working class people, we give consideration.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Because we understand ना डिफिकल्टी क्या होती है. कभी बॉस ने छोड़ा ही नहीं, वर्कलोड बहुत है, क्या करेंगे?
हाँ सर, मेरा ऐसा ही पाइथन के डेसिमल के, जब आप डेसिमल का सेशन ले रहे थे,
हाँ.
तो वैसे हुआ था कि
तो आपने
पैरेलली.
बताया क्यों नहीं, लिंक शेयर किया जा सकता था ना आपके साथ.
सर मैं बोलने ही वाला था, बट वो काम के.
एनी टाइम यू हैव, मोनिका है, स्वालिया मैडम है, मैं हूँ, वी आर ऑलवेज देयर टू हेल्प यू आउट. लिंक करेंगे, प्राइवेटली शेयर करेंगे, पब्लिकली नहीं जाएगा, प्राइवेटली आएगा आपके पास, 24 घंटे के लिए रहेगा लिंक, आप देख सकते हो, वो बाद में बंद हो जाएगा, उसमें क्या है. Anybody else? Any questions? Okay. Thank you all for attending the session. Do invite your friend next time.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, thank you, and see you for the next lecture.
Yes,
bye bye.
sir.
Good night.
Good
Take
night.
care.
Good night, sir.
Take care.